Welcome to the DC Tweet Team Podcast with Andy Burrows.
This calls for immediate discussion.
Maurice Hawkins.
Are you sure this is legal?
I don't know. It's fun though, isn't it?
And Shelley Jordan.
I'm your huckleberry.
And now, here's your host, Andy Burrows.
Welcome, everybody, to the DC Tweet Team Podcast. I am your host, Andy Burrows. Excuse my croaky voice. We have just finished watching the Washington football team beat the Atlanta Falcons 34-30. And what a stellar lineup we have for you today. I have my co-host with me, Maurice Hawkins. Maurice, how are you, brother?
Doing well.
Doing well,
Great
Maurice.
Great win.
It was a win, Maurice. It was a win. I'm not sure if I'm going to go to great, but we'll get there. Shelley is still poorly at the minute. She's on the road to recovery. Shelley, we are sending you all our love in the world. We are glad you are slowly on the way to full health. Like I said to you many times, more important things in a podcast, my friend. So go get yourself healthy. But what a lineup we have. We have our good friend from the Kirby on Sports podcast, Mr. Josh Kirby. Josh, how are you, sir?
Andy, great to be on with you. I'm looking forward to recapping this exciting Washington football victory.
Exciting heart attack football, call it what you want. And a man who has done this many times with us before, and I feel like we've done this kind of podcast before. Our main man, he's part of the furniture, he's part of the family. Carl, all the way from the Burgundy Zone. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, Andy. Part of the furniture. I like the way you put that.
You are part of the furniture here at the DC.
It's an honor again to be on the DC Tweet Team, man. It really is, especially after this win. My goodness, well, we were talking before we started recording. What a roller coaster this game was.
Oh my days, the guys! I'm not even sure where to start. I thought my notebook on my phone was going to just be on. I was trying to keep up typing my notes for this game. Maurice, let's come to you first because you normally are the voice of reason, my friend. 34-30 win. Before we try and break it down a little bit, what did you just make of what we just witnessed watching the Washington football team today?
I think we watched two evenly matched teams duke it out, and contrary to what usually happens, Washington came out on top. This easily could have been a game that we lost. The team did not play well in a lot of spots today. We suffered some injuries that, hopefully won't hold us back as a team moving forward. But I think it also showed that the team has matured under Coach Rivera's leadership as head coach. We've seen this team lose games like this all the time, but the fact that they battled and had that tenacity to stay in the game. And, Taylor Heineke, he was gutsy. He made some plays in the second half. Terry Mcclure illustrated why he needs to get the ball often. I think J.D. McKissick, was the unsung hero of this game. I mean, he made some tremendous plays, especially that touchdown reception. And we got some issues with the defense. I think the defense has some deep issues. I don't know what the problem is. Our linebacking core needs Jesus. They should be praying to Jesus because we need Jesus. That's how bad they are.
What number is he going in the draft?
I know, right? He would be first round, right?
Okay, cool.
And Dustin Hopkins, oh my God, that's all I'll say. And I'll let the rest of the guys get in.
Yeah.
To get cut.
Josh, let's talk about the offense first. I don't want to be. Let's talk about the good from what we've seen from this team. And I was super impressed with the way this offense literally never gave up for the whole game. It seemed to me like even they knew they were carrying this team on their back today. And to be honest, they have pretty much most of the season in all the games. We've had to rely on them heavily against getting that Giants win. And we all know what happened there. We were a couple of penalty flags from losing. Today, we could have been a couple of penalty flags from losing. Yeah. But Antonio Gibson, Terry Mcclure, and J.D. McKissick, Heineke, I'm including in this because when he did scramble, like Marie said, I mean, Josh and Carl, Josh, I'll come to you first. What did you make of the offense performance today? Hanging in there, never giving up. And this win is on them, let's be honest, because my God, I tweeted out Terry McLaurin deserves a statue outside FedEx Field. This man is literally, and I mean literally, carrying this team on his back.
Well, I really agree that the offense, they played better this week than in past weeks, in my opinion. And I really feel like they are carrying this Washington football team because, as we know, the defense is just not playing up to standards, in my opinion. There were a couple times I saw that Taylor Heineke threw it into trouble. It could have been trouble. Thank God there were no interceptions, because if Taylor were to throw a pick or two, the outcome of this game might be different. But so, I mean, I'm not looking at what could have happened, but I mean, I'm just glad that no interceptions were thrown. And Taylor, for the most part, I was really impressed with the game he had. I feel like he's doing a really decent job for the Washington football team so far. And I'm glad there's no sort of concern on, no controversy on fans saying, like, oh, we shouldn't have Taylor Heineke starting, because I think that would make things worse. I feel like Taylor Heineke will be the guy. I mean, for the rest of this season, obviously, I'm not looking back into seasons to come, but I think him, Terry McLaurin, he looked great. I'll say the who was it? I forget his name. The kick returner. Refresh me there.
DeAndre Carter.
Yeah.
DeAndre Carter, they put him at receiver for a play or two, and I saw that nice catch. I thought he stepped up and played really well, along with that kickoff return, because I saw DeAndre Carter, and I was like, he's going to break one this season.
Me and Marie said that on the last show. Me and Marie said he is getting a kickoff return this season, and when he done that, my God, I'm surprised you guys didn't hear him from across the pond. But, yeah, sorry, carry on, Josh.
Yeah, so I liked that. I liked what Curtis Samuel had, but the offense, there were some injuries, and hopefully those injuries won't be lingering and guys will be out for extended period of time. But one injury in particular, Logan Thomas.
Yeah.
Well, Logan Thomas, shout out to Kyle Hokies, but I mean, Logan Thomas is just a great tight end for this football team, a great weapon to have. And if he's out for an extended period of time, it's going to have to be next man up. But for the most part, Andy, I liked what the offense had to bring. And I'm glad for the most part they stayed out of trouble. And like I said, I hate to dwell on what could have happened, but if there was a pick or two thrown, this game could have went in a completely different direction.
Yeah, I mean, I'm good friends with the guys over at the Atlanta Falcons UK, one of the biggest Twitter groups in the UK. Their fan base is incredible over here. And they tweeted out, how have we not got an interception in this game? And it's all coulda, shoulda, wouldas, like we said earlier, the Giants, the flags, the pulled back touchdown there today. Even I was amazed. Look, when they show, especially when you watch it on TV, I know you guys have been to games recently, but when you watch it on TV, you're like, you look at a play and you're like, how was that not picked, or how did that not happen? But hey, that's maybe the luck that Washington deserved, because like Marie said at the start of the show, that's gone against us for God knows how many years. So Carl, we'll come to you with the offense, my friend. What did you make of them? Again, having to dig us out of a hole. Again, we went down a score. All right, it was a field goal, but I was slightly worried when we didn't have the ball at the start of the game, thinking, oh no, here we go. But we held them to a field goal.
I was so happy after that.
Yeah, I was so happy after that. But let's start on the positive notes from this game before we get onto the defense and break it down a little bit. Terry McClure, and I know, Carl, you would sign him up for the rest of his life right now. I know you speak highly of him in the Burgundy Zone. It's your biggest worry that if we ever lose this man, this team is in serious, serious trouble. I mean, my God, Carl, this man carried this team today, didn't he?
Yes, he did. 6 receptions, 123 yards for a 20.5 average and 2 touchdowns, with 33 yards being his longest reception on 13 targets. I know I made a comment to Mike during the game that there was one drop that he had gotten where a guy had come up and punched that ball out. That's not really on Terry. That's on the defender at that point. That's just a great play by him. But that one play at the end, that one touchdown he got, that Taylor just literally just threw the ball in the air, and the defender is kind of like, mirroring Terry, trying to not allow him to get to the ball. The one thing I said is they didn't even throw a flag for that, because the reason they threw the flag on Torrey McTyer is because Torrey McTyer never turned around for the football. And that's cause number one, why you throw the flag there. So on that touchdown throw, they never threw the flag on Terry, even though the guy never turned around for the football and was literally shielding him with his arms, trying to stop him. That's not pass interference, dude. And it was just a very weird game, but I will say Taylor deserves credit. 23 of 33, 290 yards, 3 touchdowns, only was sacked 1 time. His quarterback rating was 127.1. You got to give the kid credit. I know this was the Falcons and we wanted to come out with a dominant victory, but the win is a win. Get away with it. I love it. But the fact being is Bostic and Collins need to be taken off the field. They need to be having less snaps.
Amen.
Collins needs to be a specialist in blitzing and matching up on running backs, leaking out of the backfield on run situations. Because him being one-on-one on Cordero Patterson on that touchdown, yes, Andy, I know what you said before. It's a long run over. But the fact being is, this is the NFL. You get paid a whole lot of money. Wrap him up. If you can't wrap him up, at least impede his progress to the point where other guys can come help you. Come and get the gang tackle. That didn't happen. And then the Mike Davis touchdown I thought was absolutely putrid on John Bostic. Missed tackle on him. And then there was 2 more missed tackles, if not a third one, that led to that touchdown. Defense needs to tighten up. They got lucky today. They got bought out by DeAndre Carter and this offense with Terry McLaurin and Taylor Heineke. Until when Terry was on the ground, Andy, I was worried. But when I saw him get up and he was okay and he stood on the sideline ready to go, I was like, oh, thank goodness. And then he came out right after that for that touchdown. That just goes to show you who Terry McLaurin is. Pay him right now.
Yeah, I know you have been preaching to the choir there, Carl. I've heard you many times on the Burgundy Zone. Pay the man what he wants. And I'm with you, man. When he went down, I'm thinking if he is injured, our season is done. I'll see it, but thank God he got up. Maurice, Carl touched on it there. We've said many times on our shows over the start of this season, the end of last season, missed tackles seem to be a big thing in Washington. I mean, I know we all talk about, we can get on the practice field and we can work on this. Maurice, what is it with this defense and missed tackles? Like Carl said, that touchdown, I think it's the second touchdown. Mike Davis' touchdown. Missed tackles all over the place. I mean, Maurice, what did you make, and what do you put it down to? Is it just the players? It can't be poor coaching. This one is all on the players.
I mean, I think when you don't, engage in fundamentals, you wrap the player, grasp control and get them down on the ground. I mean, that's the basic principles of football. So, I don't know what, Mike Davis. I think Mike Davis just had the will to get in the end zone, and I think that it didn't matter what John Bostic did. He was getting in that end zone. And, Bostic in particular on that play, he just got to step his game up, like it's about situational football. You got to know the situation that you're in and you have to make a play. And he didn't make the play. And Mike Davis wanted to get in that end zone. And, and it kind of goes back to what I talked about last week, a sense of urgency. Like, I still think the team as a whole does not have a sense of urgency, right? But in that particular play, it definitely demonstrated that he didn't have a sense of urgency of getting that man down. And I think right now the defense is lost. We're not seeing the same Chase Young that we saw last season. Like, he doesn't seem confident in his game. It's almost like they need to put the defense on a psychologist or psychiatrist couch and figure out what's going on in their childhood that's preventing them from being the apex predators on the field that they need to be. There's something going on with the defense.
Do you think we're riding a hype train from last year that was a winning season? Is it kind of rolling back to us now that we thought, hey, we won a division, albeit with a losing record, and we were all hyped for this defense. But maybe reality's hitting a little bit where they've, the NFC East has got better. The other teams in the league have got better. And our defense are kind of saying, oh, well, we've done well last season. And they're kind of trying to ride last season's coattails without putting in the hard graft.
I think the hype train is derailed. I think whatever positivity or accolade that you thought you earned last season, that's gone. That's over. It's 2021 now. Right now, nobody cares about the 7-9 NFC East champions in 2020. No one cares about that. Like, it was hot for like a couple of days, and we rode that coattail on the offseason, but it's a new season right now. And, the defense is simply not performing. Let's just put it up there, and if they're not going to perform, then Scott Turner and company, with Taylor Heineke at the helm, they got to be prepared to put up 30 plus points a game, because this defense is going to give up 30 points So they need to be prepared to put that amount of points, if not more, to win games. If not, we won't win games because this defense can't stop anybody, and it's I mean, that's just the reality of it. The defense, the defense is not the strength of the team right now. The offense is, and no one thought that was going to be the case going into this season. It's a complete role reversal, and I'm baffled by it.
Yeah, most definitely. Josh, is there any shining lights that you can take from today's defensive performance? I thought Cole Holcomb at times stood up. He made some crucial tackles at crucial times. I'm kind of clutching at straws here, but there's got to be something in there that we can. I thought he did okay. Again, I'm with Carl. Allen and Bostic for me, they look like headless chickens. They just look like completely different players. For me, Cole kind of was the only shining light probably on that defensive side of the ball. Is it worrying again that Chase Young didn't look like getting near Matt Ryan? I mean, how old's Matt Ryan? And we didn't really get near. Montez Sweat got near him a few times. We didn't really make his life a living hell, though, did we? You think of our defense of last season where you were thinking, my God, Sweat and Chase Young were coming off the edges, and you're thinking any quarterback in the league is going to be terrified. We got what? How old is Matt Ryan now? We've got him standing back now. He looked fairly comfortable at times. There were a few hits on him, but Josh, is there anything that we can take from this defensive performance that, a little shining light maybe?
Well, I mean, I did see it looked from when I was watching it, the D-line was sort of not really affecting Ryan too much, but I did see at least one sack, if I remember correctly.
Montez Sweat, yeah.
But thank you. But Cole Holcomb played really well, but I mean, there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And I think this defense, I think it's just a discipline issue. And they got to work hard because the Saints are no easy test going into next week. And even though the Giants beat them in overtime, it's still no easy test. This is the New Orleans Saints. So I feel like this week, they really need to lock down on getting the defense better, however it may be. Because, like you said, Bostic with the tackle that wasn't made for the touchdown, like you said, Collins. I mean, on paper, the defense should be better, but they aren't. And I mean, I feel like going into this season, people were expecting the defense to wreak havoc and our defense was going to carry the entire team. But that's just not the narrative this year. The narrative right now is the offense putting up points because the defense just can't seem to do anything. And I mean, it sucks to say that after seeing them do what they did last year, but there's a problem with the defense and it needs to be addressed quickly because the next stretch of games, it's going to be brutal if this defense cannot get fixed fast.
Yeah. Carl, what do you put it down to, my friend? Obviously, we've spoke many times about our defense and how good they were last season. And it's kind of, we're all sitting in shock this season. I listen to you guys every week. I listen to Josh. I listen to a lot of podcasts. And I think the general consensus around not just the podcast world, because we're lucky enough to have a microphone here and talk about it, but you've only got to scroll through Facebook, Twitter, and just chat to general fans. Everyone is shocked. Is it a Jack Del Rio thing? Is it just a player thing living off last season's high? What, in your opinion, you're a man who knows football extremely well. What do you put it down to?
It's a mixture of everything, to be perfectly honest. Because when you play, let's just put it in simple terms. When you play Madden, you go up against an offense. You're kind of guessing in that formation what they're going to do. Are they going to run? Are they going to pass? And right now, it doesn't seem that they have their footing in grasping on what the offense is going to do that play. What it seems like is when the defensive line is going into a pass rush mode, they're running the football, and we're out of running lanes because when an offense is running the football, what you want to do is you want to create a wall of the offensive linemen's backs because the running back cannot run through that. You're creating a wall basically. And so you're going to move their feet, slow them down a little bit. Don't let them get fast. And that's not happening because guys are getting moved. And so on top of that, it's like the Bobby McCain botched play where he's looking in the backfield, looking at Matt Ryan for some reason when he's the last line of defense. You are the last guy. I don't care if you're 40 yards downfield. That ball was literally a pop fly. That is something, a routine pop flag, center fielder goes and catches. And if Bobby McCain plays that play like he's supposed to, that's a pick. Easy money. So it's like an accumulation of not having the footing as a play caller, knowing exactly what's coming at them because they're kind of on their heels a little bit, because throughout the season we've said this is a bend but don't break defense. But then there's the John Bostic missed tackle down at the goal line where if you stop him, that's a field goal. And that's normal what we do. But those botched missed tackles is what leads to points, and that's what has to stop, which is leading to my point that changes need to be made like Landon Collins. You need to make those changes because offenses are going to dial in on those guys. If they're on the field, if you're in man, they're going to say, okay, Landon's there. Yeah, I'm going to make sure my running back's on him. You're straight. Put CEH on him, you're good. And that's going to happen every single time. So regardless, those guys not making plays tells me as a football guy, changes are going to be made, and guys are not capable of doing what they're doing because as of right now, 4 games in, a quarter way through the year, we kind of know who this football team is right now. They are way too slow in the back end.
Yeah, most definitely. And talking of changes, we're going to go around the room here. Dustin Hopkins. I've got called out so many times for getting on this guy's case on Twitter. And no, you need to ride with him. He's the guy's fucking terrible. Okay, Maurice, I'm going to come to you first, my friend. I'm not going to say anything more. Everyone knows my views and opinions on him. The guy is absolutely dog shit. Maurice, Dustin Hopkins, talk to me, my friend.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
I got nothing. I mean, I don't know what Dustin Hopkins was, but whatever he was, he's not that now. And he's like the equivalent of walking across a minefield and hoping you don't step on a mine. So it's not a matter of if the mine's going to go off, but when. It's not a matter of if he's going to miss a kick, but when. And right now, like, we've been lucky because, we've found ways to make plays, but we easily could be 0-4. We easily could be 0-4. We easily could be one of the worst teams in the NFL. So the fact that we are even in this position, is amazing. I mean, I think guys fight hard, but again, with Dustin Hopkins, it's like when Denny Green said back in the day, God rest his soul, they are who we thought they were. He is who we thought he is. He's not a very good kicker. He's not a reliable kicker. We need an upgrade at our kicking position, and the thing about it is he's going to cost us some games this season. Trust and believe. We're going to lose a game or two because of Dustin Hopkins. It's not something I want to happen. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to force us to start going for 2 points after scoring a touchdown instead of the extra point. I mean, Carl, we've spoke many times. We've gone backwards and forwards on it. What is it? I mean, you mentioned there earlier, you mentioned Landon Collins. We can mention Kendall Fuller having competition. Things need to change. Why is it a kicker? And maybe this is a thing through the NFL. Why is it a kicker? Everyone goes, oh, no, I'll be fine. He'll be okay. He'll come good. It's a very underrated position in the football team. We could have needed him to kick a field goal to win the game today. We were all tweeting it. We're thinking, oh my God, this could come down to him. I was like, look, if he kicks us the winning field goal.
I was saying the same thing.
Yeah, if he kicks us the winning field goal today, that's it. Then cut him and say, thank you very much. You won us the game. But Carl, what is it? How is there never, in all the years I've watched the Washington football team / Redskins, that the guy is just there week in, week out? I think we brought in someone a few months ago, maybe a month ago, never to be seen again. Hopkins just never seems to have competition, my friends. What do you put it down to?
Because, it's a huge gamble. Because, all right, let's just say it's up to chance. And later down the line, there's a game where you replace Dustin Hopkins and that guy you get misses the game winner. And then the questions start to come up. And then it's, well, why did you replace him? With Dustin Hopkins would have gotten it. And that's where it kind of brings in the trepidation and the worry and the concern where it's like, is it the right move? Because you want Dustin Hopkins to show you he's not the guy, but he continues to show spurts that he is. Like in last week, what he did was great in the kickoff and his field goals and he did what he needed to do, And then there's this game where he misses the extra points, but we still win. So does he deserve criticism? 150%. But it's like, if they made that move, the guy that they would bring in, because if the guy that they would bring in, if he was very good, he'd be on a roster right now kicking for somebody. So there's still the questions that come up on where they're good at and what they can do. So because like you saw in Atlanta today, their kickoff specialist guy that they got injured. He was also their punter. And so it's like Dustin does both, and that's also a plus in a way. But at the same time, dude, he's got to make the extra points. I mean, we came back and I was just like, dude, he missed 2. Are you serious? Like, are you serious? It's got to stop. But I'm glad that we won. I'm not gonna blame it on him, but at the same time, dude, you got to make extra points. I mean, dude, it's the easiest field goal to make. It's right down the middle.
Extra points, yeah.
It's right down the middle, dude. What are you doing?
No, yeah, 100%. Josh, we're going to take some fan questions while we wrap up our little post-game show here. Big Washington fan UK, he says, why aren't we living up to the preseason billing, especially the offense, is it a case of over-promising and under-delivering? I mean, I think our offense have been the shining light for us so far. If it wasn't for them, I'm with Maurice. We would have been 0-4 because our defense have absolutely sucked. But Josh, why aren't we living up to the preseason billing? I mean, UK Washington fan says maybe on the offensive side of the ball, but hey, everyone has an opinion. He might not enjoy what he's seen. Josh, what do you think's the overall wrong with this Washington football team? But something like Marie said, something is fundamentally wrong with this team. Is it coaching? What is it that we are bad. We're winning games here, but I'm not going to hide this.
They're not playing good football.
Yeah, I'm going to get to someone's tweet in a minute that dig me out for just being negative about this team. No, we are winning games, but if we had somehow reversed our schedule coming up, and this was the start of the season, if we had the Bucks, the Chiefs, if we had a few more divisional games, we could very, very easily be 0-4. And that's not me being negative. That's me watching every single snap of every single game. The Giants game, we got saved by penalties. Today, we got very, very lucky, and our offense had to dig us out. So I'm not being negative. It's called being the truth. And sometimes Washington fans might not like to hear that. They've got the blinkers on. You've got to love this team. Hey, hurrah, go team. No, I'm never ever going to apologize for wanting my team to play better and do better, especially when I know that we have a Chase Young, a Montez Sweat, Landon Collins, Kendall Fuller that can do so much better. So Josh, what do you put this performance down to so far this season and not being very good? Let's be honest.
Well, I think it's a multitude of things. I think the offense kind of towards the start of the season came off to a really slow start, but then improved. Taylor Heineke, I think he brought some sort of energy that wasn't really there with Fitzpatrick. I know Fitzpatrick only played maybe a quarter or two, but I mean, still, I'm not knocking Fitzpatrick. I'm sorry for what happened to him, really, but I feel like there was a spark when Heineke came, and you saw it. They almost beat the Chargers week one. And I was like, oh, wow. I mean, Heineke looks like he's playing well. I mean, he's still not elite or anything. He's made decisions. We saw that against the Bills. He made some irresponsible throws that led to interceptions. So, but I think the offense is slowly but surely improving. But the defense, once again, like Kyle said, I'll catch up on what Kyle said. But I mean, just there are so many different things that are wrong with the defense that needs to be improved on, and discipline issue. Coaching. I mean, I'm not going to say it's all of it, but it's definitely a part of it. If I weren't to say right now that the defense is perfect, there's no room for improvement or anything, you might as well take away my laptop and my recording equipment, because that's wrong. There's always room for improvement. Even if you're a team that's 4-0 as we are speaking, there is still room for improvement. I mean, there's no way around that. Even if you're an undefeated team, let's say like 10-0, there's still room for improvement. And that's what the Washington football team needs to take into consideration. The defense needs to improve. The offense looked good, but there is still improvements that need to be made there in order for this team to get better. And I'm really not seeing those improvements. I am a little bit on the offensive side of the football, but the defensive side of the football, not yet. And there just has to be improvements up and down.
I think it's quite worrying as well from a defensive side of the ball. If you put up 30 points against the Atlanta Falcons, to me, that doesn't. You don't need to be John Madden or Bill Belichick to figure out that kind of scenario is not good. You're putting 30 points up against the Atlanta Falcons. Carl, still talking of the defense. Rob would like to know, Jack Del Rio, what does he do? Because he's definitely not coaching. how much responsibility does he have to take for this defense, Carl? We were all singing the praises of this defense last year, albeit in a very, very weird season. You know, I'm not going to keep harping on about last season, but we give the players loads of shit. Fuller, Collins, you know, we've given Hopkins loads of abuse. Just that Jack Del Rio now come tomorrow morning when they get back to Ashburn, have to go, hey, sit this man down and say, look, brother, this is your job to get these guys working. This is your job. You're getting paid the king's ransom to get this defense looking like the A-class defense that we all expect it to be. What responsibility does he now have to take?
He does. He does take a lot because he deserves criticism when the going is tough, but the players deserve praise when it's going well, and that's generally what happens with these type of leaders. And a quarter through the season, this is a good time to be able to look at them, and this is an issue. I've been seeing the same thing that Logan Paulson has been seeing, and they're not disguising anything. So the offenses know exactly what they're matching up to. They know what plays go to what, because for every coverage that you have, there are certain routes and plays that work against that coverage. So if an offense is able to say, hey, yes, they're in cover 3, let's make sure that's a deep out on the outside. We can hit that on this 3rd and 11. And that's essentially what I've been seeing. So I've been wanting to see them mix coverages, send blitzes in those high-pressure situations. But the worst part is that they allow the ball to get ran on them on early downs, which makes it short yardage. So then they can't pin their ears back and send guys because they don't know if it's a run play or if it's a pass play. And so that's where my whole point is. The point number one that has to happen is they have to take control of the line of scrimmage first, because right now they don't have control of the line of scrimmage. They're being dictated on where they go. They're allowed to run the ball however they want, and then play action is working when Matt Ryan comes off of it, sees right over top of John Bostic, and is able to thread the ball in right in front of him every single time. I saw it on film. I knew he was going to be looking in the middle, and that's exactly what he did. That should have been seen and warranted, but they couldn't stop the run. They can't control the line of scrimmage. They're getting beat with play action off of that, which is leading to these bad points. And that's it. They have to control the line of scrimmage. And that's where I feel like they're not on top of the game because they don't know what the offense is doing. And it's almost like they're catching them on their heels a little bit. And that's the frustrating part, because I'm seeing react instead of attack. And that's my biggest issue.
Yeah, very well put, my friend. Maurice, Joe Perode, very good contributor to our podcast and all the podcasts. He put 3rd down defense. Why is it so bad? I mean, again, today we saw Washington in a situation where it was 3rd and long, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 13. Everyone to a man, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, friends tweeting each other, texting each other, going, you just knew when the Falcons were 3rd and long, well, this is a given 1st down, aren't you? We're staying on the field. Maurice, what do you put the 3rd down issues down to?
The offensive teams are doing a better job preparing to attack our defense. Like, they know exactly how to attack our defense. They know that if they attack our defense at our weak point, that we are not able to respond. You know, that center of the defense with the linebacker unit is bad. Mm-hmm. You know, there's no other way around it. And part of what teams are doing, we saw it with the Chargers, we saw it with the Giants. We saw it last week in last week's game, and we saw it today against the Falcons. You know, these quarterbacks are getting the ball out fast. You know, the ball is gone at the 3 steps, and that's neutralizing our D line from getting pressure. So if they're getting the ball out fast, teams are not allowing our defensive line to impose their will on them. That's why they're getting the ball out fast. And we're not making adjustments. And we have a reluctance to use exotic blitz packages where you're bringing a safety or a cornerback into to the box to blitz to get that additional pressure. Like, there's this overconfidence in our front four that they can do it by themselves. And that's just not reality right now, you know? Mm-hmm. And part of it is that Chase Young's year 2, Montez Sweat is year 3, so they're not the fully formed apex predators that we think they're going to be in their careers. But, you know, if you, like, again, I said last week, insanity is doing the same thing over again and expecting a different result. We need to do something different to get pressure on the quarterbacks, period.
Yeah, most definitely. Next question's for me. You may have seen this on Twitter. Guy that get on well. I get on well. I'm all up for having debates on Twitter. It's what goes on. Steve Andy put, can you apologize for saying that Washington suck, that we're already looking at getting a number 1 draft pick and you are quitting on our team? We won a hard-fought game today and we have a very good quarterback performance. First of all, I never, ever, ever quit on this fucking team. Okay? Ever. I've been a fan since 1999. If I was going to quit, it would have been a hell of a long time ago. My God, I'm never quitting on this team. I want this team to win every single game they play. I want us to win everything we do. I want us to win every game. I want us to go to Super Bowls and be great. I, unlike some, I'm a realist. I see the games for what they are. And I, again, like I said earlier, I'm not going to apologize for saying right now, we are a very bad football team. Marie said earlier, we could easily be 0-4. Let's not beat around the bush and go, yeah, but we won. We should be beating the Atlanta Falcons. We should be beating the New York Giants. Jesus Christ, if we are losing to these teams like we did we lost to the Giants last year and it was terrible, but we're losing to these teams this season. We have bigger issues than I think anyone knows, but I'm not going to sit here and go, do you know what, Ray, go football team. We won a game, brilliant. Not everything is rosy in the world of Washington right now. And it pisses me off when people get there and go, you can't have a go at the team. You can't say the team suck. Our defense suck. They are effing terrible right now. Do I want them to suck? No. Do I want to be tweeting there at halftime report, Washington suck? Our defense are really bad. I'm not going to make no apologies. You've got a microphone in front of me. I am not going to say sorry for the Washington football team being really bad. If you want one of them podcasts or one of them views, go and listen to someone that gets paid a hell of a lot more money than me to kiss his team's ass, because I am never going to fucking do that. If we suck, I'll say we suck. When we're good, like our offense were today, I'll say they're good. I'll praise Terry McLaurin. I'll praise Antonio Gibson. Taylor Heineke. The kid is doing his best. Yep. Is he the answer? Who knows? But hey, he's better than what I've seen in the last few seasons. He's better than Dwayne Haskins. He's better than Alex Smith. He's better than all the other shit that I've seen the last few years.
When's the last time we were putting up 30 points?
We're putting up 30 points.
Times,
Exactly. So, Steve, to answer your question, hey, look, no, I'm not going to apologize that we suck, because we are in a whole heap of trouble. So take for what it is. It's Twitter. Arguments happen. We can't all agree. Life would be very fucking boring. But, guys, let's finish this up. Carl, we have the Saints coming into town next week, my friend. Just very briefly, I know we're all going to get into it on our own shows this week, and we're gonna break it down. What do the Washington football team need to do, my friend? We've got the Saints coming in. I think could it be one of them games where we play a team that everyone's thinking, hey, we're going to get blown out here? Could this be a statement game for the Washington football team where we go, hey, look, we're taking all the criticism from wankers like that over in England on this podcast. Let's go and send out a message now to the world and say, hey, guys, this is the game we need to step up. Or a lot of people on social media today, Carl, saying, hey, if this defense turns up like this against the Saints, we're not going to ride our luck quite like we have today and against the Giants.
Yeah, and this is what Terry was talking about in his press conference earlier in the week, saying they can help the defense. And today they didn't run the ball great with Antonio Gibson. They did a pretty good job with it, but it wasn't like they commanded time of possession with the running game. And I think against the Saints, that's what you can really bet on if you want to beat them and have a chance in that football game. Because if you give Jameis Winston more chances to go deep downfield, he's going to hit them. But the thing is, Jameis is a different quarterback than these other guys. These other guys know what they want. They know what they're going after. Jameis is kind of in a prove-it mode right now. So you can actually get some great opportunities off of Jameis that you wouldn't get from these other quarterbacks like Josh Allen, who was throwing literally, I call it like shooting pennies. And that's exactly what he was doing out there against Washington. It was just brutal. And Matt Ryan was doing the same. There was one rollout that he hit. I think it was Kyle Pitts that he hit, and it was literally in a perfect spot. And I think it was McCain came up and was inches away from hitting that ball away on a third down. And it's just like, why does that ball have to be perfect? Why does it have to be right on his hands, right out of the grasp of McCain? And that's the kind of quarterbacks they've been going against. So with Jameis Winston, I think he's more of like a Brett Favre-esque, where you can get him if you press him just a little bit. You don't have to bring him down, but just get the pressure in his face. He will put up some balls. But that being said, if you allow them to run the football like the Falcons did today, that play action will destroy you with Jameis Winston. He will hit you downfield, and he will cost you big games. The mental mistakes need to stop, because the one aspect of this defense is they're playing off, they'll allow you to throw it short, and then we're going to come up and make the tackle. What I saw today with those missed tackles, excluding Chase Young, I don't think he deserves criticism for that, because he got flagged last week off of tackling Daniel Jones. And so or 2 weeks ago. And so he's saying, like, what can I do at this point? If I tackle him, I get put weight on top of him, then I'm flagged. And if I hit him, I get flagged. So at this point, he doesn't know what to do. I'm not going to hit him for that, but They need to wrap up their tackles. They need to bring them down, and they need to get John Bostic off the field in passing situations. It is destroying this defense.
100% agree. Josh, Saints are rolling into town. My same question to you, my friend. What did the Washington football team need to do to not get, like many people are saying now, not get blown out by a decent Saints team?
Well, I'll be honest with you. Kyle pretty much touched on all the points I had. I think he did a very good job.
Okay, moving on to Maurice. Thanks, Josh. Carry on, bro.
But I will say the New York Giants beat the Saints at home in overtime today.
And the Jets won as well, I think, and a good day in New York.
I picked the Titans in my pick'em. I picked the Titans, the Saints. Unfortunately, I picked the Falcons, and I picked the 49ers. They're playing.
You're doing a Reed. See, Reed done that. I'm on Carl's podcast a lot last season. We told him to keep doing it because every time he said Washington would lose, we won. So, Josh, just
every time there was one of us that picked us to lose, we won. Yeah,
just keep doing that, Josh. Pick the Saints next week.
But anyways, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to be that big of a deal, but the Saints losing to this winless Giants team going into Washington, how could that affect this? This is a game that I would assume the Saints were thinking we probably have a decent chance of beating this Giants team. And I mean, this could, I'm not really going to say it's going to get their heads down. I'm pretty sure they're going to prepare and play like normal, but still it could affect them somehow that the Giants beat them in their home stadium, their first time back from the hurricane. But defense has to step up. Offense plays a little bit better, more running. I think if Heineke throws a perfect football all day, passes on target, I think the offense will do fine, but the defense just needs to step up.
I do think that there is something to like the whole turf aspect of this with the Saints because they are a turf field, being at home in their stadium. It's going to be a grass field in FedEx. It's not the same football team. You don't have the same grip, the same speed off of the running. So I do think the Saints will be playing a little bit differently than you do regularly see them. I don't remember if week 1 was at Lambeau, but if it was, that completely disproves my argument.
They played, it was in
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. They used their field, didn't they? Because of the hurricane, they couldn't play at home.
The Saints. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they played in Jacksonville.
That is grass. Then.
They played in Jacksonville. One thing for me, just really quickly, can Heineke can someone tell him where the first down marker is so he doesn't dive with his head? And my God, he scared the living shit out of me at times.
Dude, you have to give him credit because he stayed healthy. The biggest criticism of him over the offseason was how brittle he was and how he wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
So he worked at it. He gained muscle. He got bigger.
Well,
look, man, we're 3 games through with him starting. He hasn't been in. He's not knocked out yet. Give him credit.
It's unheard of in Washington.
At least he knows how to spot towards E3.
Yeah, but when he slid the first few though, when he slid with his head, I'm thinking, oh my God, I was thinking, oh my God, here we go again. Maurice, the Saints are coming into town, my friend, next weekend. What did this Washington football team need to do to try and squeak out another win? We're putting points up on the offensive side of the ball. If that defense can just tighten up, then we're going to put a whooping on someone, but that's easier said than done.
I think number one, we got to contain Alvin Kamara. Like he's the little engine that could with the New Orleans Saints. I mean, he can do everything. Run the ball, catch the ball. I mean, he's just one of the elite weapons in the NFL. So we're going to have our day trying to contain him. So pack a lunch. Also, Sean Payton is an extraordinary play caller. If you want to go up against a coach that knows how to dial up of a game plan specifically designed to beat your butt, Sean Payton's your guy. So we need to be outthinking him. We need to be unconventional and do some things that they have not seen before to keep them off balance. And I think it's critically important that we get pressure on Jameis Winston because I think he's prone to turn the ball over. I mean, he's a guy that's thrown for 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. So let's confuse him so he's making some mistakes. And I think that if we can get a couple of turnovers from the Saints, we give ourselves a puncher's chance of winning that game. It's a winnable game, but we can't let Jameis get in rhythm because he'll pick us apart.
Yeah, just very quickly, guys. I've just got 3 comments here. They're all pretty similar. Carl, someone just said to me, with these stretch of games coming up, and I don't think this is personally going to happen, but What pressure is Ron Rivera under after these games? So is it the Saints, the Chiefs? Then we're looking like the Bucks, and what pressure? I mean, we love the man. I'm not getting on his case. This is just me immediately asking a question before some knobhead tweets me saying, "Oh, you're shitting on this team." What pressure is our head coach going to be under after this run of games? If the defense doesn't sort its shit out, if this is any normal season, if this is Jay Gruden or if this is anyone else, we're saying, "Hey, man, you're in the hot seat here, buddy. We love Ron, and this is I'm talking purely football here now, Carl. What kind of pressure is Ron Rivera under?"
I don't think he should be under any pressure at all, to be perfectly honest with you. They should be feeling the heat, obviously, during the competition aspect of football. But it's a week-by-week basis. You can't get into it thinking that way because it's going to create stress for you. Basically, what you need to focus on is the Saints. See if there's any weaknesses in their game. That's all your focus should be on. See where you can hit them, what's the best avenue to do that. Take them out of their comfort zone. Stop them from doing what they're doing, and then move on to next week. That's the best way that they can go about doing this, because the added stress of saying, "Oh, like I know they're 2-2, and I know what they're going down with this stretch." But we have to remember they were 1-5 at one point last season. The guy was going through cancer treatment. They could have quit at any time last season, and they showed today again that they don't quit. It's not in their name. That's not what they do. Are they a great team? No, but they're going to fight their butts off. And not the ways that we want to, because we'd like to see greater numbers out of this defense. But it seems like at this point, the number one aspect that we have to really look at and make sure happens is that all three faces of this game, they all work together. Because right now it seems like the offense is pulling them and the defense is dragging. But last thing we need is the defense to show up against the Saints and the offense is dreadful. We need to see all three phases playing together, because today we saw special teams do well, so the offense do well, but the defense didn't, and we were lucky to get away with that win. But from now on, let's try to get all three phases playing together. Please. We haven't seen that yet. We haven't.
Yeah, 100%. I completely agree. Hey, we saw a kickoff return today. First time in summer. Awesome. When's the last time we done that?
2019 was
2019. There you go. I mean, guys, it's been great chopping it up after the game. Josh, tell us what's going on with the Kirby on Sports podcast, my friend. What you got coming up, brother? And tell our listeners where they can find you, sir.
I mean, we're still grinding. NFL's our busy season. I mean, and I call outside of football season the off season, because we have more flexibility on like what we want to cover, how we want to cover it. But in the NFL season, we're strictly talking football. And I think I'm going to be even busier, because I might branch out and do an additional podcast. So not one, but two podcasts during the week, because per se, the MLB playoffs are starting. That's something I would want to cover. And that, because if I put it in the NFL portion or that whole episode, that make it extremely too long. So it might be twice a week, depending on how the MLB playoffs are, previewing that, so on and so forth. We have hockey season coming up soon. So it's a nonstop grind. And for a community like you, Andy, Kyle, which I recently connected with, and you meeting Maurice for the first time. I mean, just the podcast community in this area, it's just really great. And I'm glad I'm connected with people like you all who are here to help out, or if somebody needs a guest on their show, they'll do that as well. But I mean, we're grinding. You can catch me on www.kirbyonsports.com. That's where you can find everything. www.kirbyonsports.com. You can follow me on my socials. It's on there, all streaming platforms, on our online store, our YouTube, anything and everything.
Oh, very well put, my friend. Go and check out Josh. He grinds his ass off. He puts out some amazing content. Josh, thanks so much for joining us, brother. I really do appreciate you. Carl, my friend, what you got coming up this week, my man? You're back. You've changed your days now. Are you back tomorrow? If I'm right, I'm thinking. Yeah, you'll be back tomorrow. What's coming up in the Burgundy Zone this week, my man?
Yep. So we got our episode coming tomorrow, but instead of Friday, we're coming out on Thursday. My brother-in-law is getting married this weekend.
So, congratulations.
Yeah. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. So on Friday, I'll be traveling out west, so we'll be recording on Thursday. but I'm most likely I'll still be debuting it on Friday. I'm not 100% sure at this point, but most likely it will be on Friday. I don't want to interfere with Thursday Night Football, but of course you can find me on Twitter at the Burgundy Zone, or the Podfather if you want to search for that, even though it's just a name. And then you can find us on YouTube, Facebook. We're on Spotify, YouTube. Obviously, we're on Google Pods, and then also on iTunes, Apple Podcasts as well. Anywhere that really has an outlet for podcasts, you can find us at The Burgundy Zone. Just strictly talking Washington football, man. It's all that matters. And my dogs are now upset. Sorry.
Yeah, the dogs are upset. We got to let Carl go. Maurice, we lost Maurice. I don't know where Maurice is. He's a busy man. He's kind of here. But yeah, go and check out there he is. Maurice, always a pleasure to speak Washington football with you. Do not crash the car, my friend, for the love of God. But we will be back later this week. Like Carl said, go check out the Burgundy Zone. Go check out the Kirby on Sports. Even the DC Tweet team are on YouTube. Go hit the like and subscribe button. Go check us out. But ladies and gentlemen, I have been your host, Andy Burrows, with Maurice Hawkins, Josh Kirby, and Carl from the Burgundy Zone. A pleasure as always, my friend. Till next time, everybody, stay safe.